Hey guys, welcome to The Sophisticated Scoundrel. Today we're going to talk about why men need to put up boundaries in their relationships in order to make sure that you can have a decent relationship. So before we do that though, please download this new guide that I put out a couple of weeks ago called The 5 Steps Towards Finding Your Life Purpose and Mission. It's a great guide because a lot of you men have been reaching out to me wondering what to do with your life. You've lost that sense of purpose, or you don't know what you should even do for your life mission. And without a mission, a lot of guys feel lost, they feel directionless. So I put together this guide. It has a video that walks through that guide. It's free. Grab that in the link down below, and I hope it helps you get some clarity on your focus, your purpose, and your mission in life. Okay guys, so I want to jump into this topic here about men who need to have boundaries in order to have a successful relationship with women. And before we get into that, though, I kind of want to start with something I've been noticing a lot from the men that have reached out to me or the men that have been working with me in one-on-one coaching. And that is a lot of the men that talk to me are at a place where they don't have much going on in their own life. And if you don't have any hobbies, if you don't have a passion or some sort of a goal in life that you can focus in on, then all of a sudden that the woman that you're dating becomes the sole focus of your life. And when you do this and you just make her your everything and you're constantly reaching out to her, trying to do things with her, what happens here is that over time, she realizes that you don't have anything else going on but her, and she'll start to lose respect for you. If you put her as the number one thing in your life, you can guarantee she's not going to keep you as her priority in her life. So one of the biggest things that guys can do then is to focus first of all on who you are. And I think the biggest, and this whole thing with boundaries, we'll get into that. But in order to do that, you need to have your own life put together. Now, there's this thing that in the book, The Irrational Male by Rollo Tomassi, he talks about having masculine frame. And masculine frame is essentially the world that you've built for yourself. And you set the rules, you set the tone, and you live life according to your beliefs and your rules. And in the ideal situation, a woman she enters into and lives within your frame. She wants to follow you as the masculine leader of the relationship. But a lot of you guys, whether you're younger or older, it's reversed. You're entering into her frame. You're playing by her rules. And when you play by her rules, women make decisions, and as overall from day to day, they do things based on emotions. I think all of us know this. And their emotions are constantly changing. So you as a guy, what's going to happen is you're going to have to constantly be chasing after this moving goalpost. And if she feels that you're not treating her a certain way, then she's going to complain about it. Or if she feels that you're not loving you a certain way, then you're not loving her correctly and she's going to be upset about it. So you're always trying to chase her around. And this is only going to lead to you feeling resentful, frustrated, and her losing respect for you because you are trying to bend yourself into a pretzel when no matter how hard you try, it'll never happen. Because how many of you guys have gone through something like this where you essentially are saying to yourself, okay, if I just do this thing, if I let her do this, then maybe she'll love me more. Or if I show her I love her this way, then she'll love me more. Or if I give her this thing, then she'll love me more. And you're constantly trying to figure out this puzzle of how to get her to respect you or love you more, and you never seem to get to that. It's like chasing the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I'm sure you guys have been through this situation, and this is exactly what I'm talking about, is that you're living in her frame. You're not putting your foot down and saying, no, I'm not going to give in to these demands. I'm going to do my thing, and if she wants to join me, great. If not, that's great too, but I'm going to do my thing. So what does this look like? Okay, so I have an example. One of the guys that I coach, he was with a woman who, very, very beautiful girl. She wanted to go hang out with a guy by herself. And he felt very uncomfortable about this. But the problem is that, and I'm sure some of you other guys have been in a position like this. And what's going on right now is that men are taught to think that being jealous or being uncool with your girl going hang out with other guys, you're taught that this is a bad thing. This is misogynist. This is controlling. You know, this is what's toxic. You know, you have to respect women and let them do what they want. That's what you're being told. So a lot of you guys out there you're in these situations where you're like, you know what, I don't like that. But you're not comfortable saying it because you don't want to be labeled these things. Well, I want to share with you guys that you need to get comfortable saying no and get comfortable being labeled these things, because the reason why this has come about is because women want to be able to do things, and not all women, but you know, a vast majority of women want to be able to do things that they want to do without having to face or deal with any of the consequences that come with doing the things that they want to do. And so they have come up with a way to say, hey, you're not a good man, or you're a toxic man if you're enforcing these boundaries. If you're not letting me do what I want to do, then you're controlling. When in fact, they are not considering you as a man in the relationship. They're not saying to themselves, hey, you know what? I am exclusively with this man now. I should show him respect. And because I love and respect him, I'm not going to put him in a position where he needs to feel this way. Or I respect him enough not to be alone with another man. They're not seeing it that way, but this is how you need to see it. And this is where you need to put your foot down and stand up for yourself. So if you're in a situation like this, what do you do? Well, there's a couple ways of thinking about this, you know, because me personally, I'm trying to think. I haven't been in a lot of situations where I go out with girls or been exclusive with girls who do this kind of thing. But there has been times, and I am very clear. I just say, hey, look, you know, if we're going to be together, you know, unless there's some circumstance, I'd rather you not hang out with guys if I'm not there. You know, you know, there's no need for, in my mind, there's no need for them to go hang out with guys that they're not, that they're just friends with. Because if she has a boyfriend or has a man in her life, then what's the point of going to see someone like that? Now, if it's some very old friend or something like that, then there might be some exceptions. But for the most part, that's something that you have to be able to say, hey, no, I'm not comfortable with you doing that. If you want to go do that, that's fine. But then we're just probably not a good fit for a relationship. And so you have to be comfortable saying stuff like that. And this is where a lot of guys are very uncomfortable saying it because they don't want to be labeled as some controlling misogynist, okay? But see, this isn't controlling. You're giving them an option and you're letting them do what they want to do, and you're retaining your ability to do what you want to do, because yes, you are very much separate individual entities, and nobody can control somebody else. You can't control her or make her do things she doesn't want to do, and she can't control you to make things that you want to do. A lot of you guys out there, if you're dating a woman that you find very attractive, you put up with more bullshit. That's just the reality. Guys will put up with more bullshit from hot women. And this is something that you need to train yourself to not do anymore. Because it shouldn't matter whether they're hot or, you know, average, whatever the case may be, you need to be unaffected. And a great way to be unaffected is to build up your own world. So this is where we're gonna go into talking about, you know, a lot of you guys are making her your world. It's a bad way to go. You need to first and foremost, and this is what I always do when I'm working with the guys that I work with, is that we look at your life or their life and we figure out what is their world. And how, if they don't have one, how do we create that world? Because when you have your own world and you have things going for yourself, you feel proud, you feel secure, you feel confident. And it's something that you can base your confidence off of. If you've got, this really great hobby of music, or, whatever it is, that gives you strength, that gives you confidence in your day-to-day that you can then use to rely on to stand up for yourself in situations like this. But if you have nothing else going on, all that you base your worth on is this pretty girlfriend, then of course you don't want to lose that. So therefore you're going to be doing things that you wouldn't normally do, or that you wouldn't feel comfortable doing, just because you don't want to lose that one thing that you have going for yourself in your life. So that's why a lot of you guys just simply don't have your world yet. You're not strong enough to, or you don't have that thing that makes you strong enough to say no, to put your foot down when someone's doing things that you don't agree with, because you don't want to miss out on that beautiful girl that you think is, awesome. So first and foremost, this is what a lot of you guys need to do, is to figure out what makes me, and why am I a guy that's worth, why would you, because a lot of you guys have a very low self-image and you're willing to put up with that stuff, but we need to get you to the point where you say to yourself, like, look, hey, I've got a lot going on for me. I work hard. I got this stuff going. I'm doing my thing. I know how to interact with women in a masculine way. I mean, you're not going to say this, but this is what you should be telling yourself. And you're like, why would I put up with a woman who wants to go hang out with some other dude? If she does, that's fine, but she's going to miss out. We're done, because, she's going to miss out on being with a guy like myself, a guy who has his shit together, who's, again, is a masculine leader, who can make her feel comfortable in her feminine. This is how you need to think. So when you have the ability to think like that, then it's a lot easier to be like, okay, well, she's the one missing out on this. So this is how we have to think about it. You can't think about, oh, let me just make sure I don't make her mad so she dumps me, or let me make sure I do whatever she says so she, doesn't get upset with me. That's a bad way to go. And, I'll be honest with you guys, I hear women say things literally like, I wonder what I could say or do that he would actually say no to. Like, women want to feel you put your foot down. You guys don't realize this because, again, you've been sold the message that a guy who's just easygoing and who just lets her do whatever he wants, that is a guy who's so confident in his masculinity, who's so comfortable with himself. But it's bullshit. Guys who say that kind of thing, they're lying to themselves. I guarantee it. But a guy who's actually honest and say, hey, look, you know what? No, I'm not cool with you doing that. So if you want to, go ahead. But if you are, that just means that we got to go our separate ways. That's true confidence. That's you standing up for yourself, putting your foot down and saying what you think without any strings attached. She can do what she wants, but you can also do what you want. And that is powerful. Being able to walk away like that is so powerful. And I think for myself, I think this is one of the things that I've been good at, is that I truly can walk away. I'm comfortable walking away. I don't care if she's super hot. If the sex is super awesome, I will walk away. If things are not panning out, I'm comfortable, because I'm okay being on my own. I've got my own things going on, that if that part of my life isn't there at the moment, yeah, it sucks. Of course there's going to be other things I'll miss about that girl. But if it's crossing that line, then I can walk away from it and be okay with it, because I'm comfortable doing my own thing. And if you don't establish this from the beginning, then, she's going to slowly pick away and try to ask you to do this. Now let me do this. And she's going to up the ante. And pretty soon you're going to be living with resentments. You're going to bend yourself into a pretzel, and the relationship is still going to go sideways, because no matter what you do, like I said earlier, that goalpost is going to move. Now, there are a lot of women who won't do this, and I'll say that, I would say most of the women that I have ever gone out with, or that I go out with, they don't behave like this. They are respectful. They understand that I have a certain way about me, and I don't need to say it. I don't verbalize it necessarily, but because of the way I act, because of the way I present myself, they understand that I don't think they'd even think about doing some of the things that I'm sharing with you that I've heard some of you guys tell me. It doesn't come up. They want to devote themselves to the one guy in their life, which would be me. And so this is something that comes when you establish your own world. And so in order to, like I said, get yourself to that spot, work on building up who you are as a man. That's to be your first focus, first and foremost. And that's what I always tell the guys that I work with is, who are you as a man? What is your world? Make sure you have that so then you can invite her into it. Because if you don't have that and you're wandering around and you come across this girl and you enter into hers, she's going to realize sooner or later that you just don't have anything going on, and she will exploit you. They can be ruthless and they will exploit you and push you and see what you're made of and see what they can get away with. Okay? So again, you know, you're not going to be calling women out on this stuff and saying, hey, I understand that if you don't want to explain yourself. You want to do it through your actions. You simply say no to certain things that you don't agree with, because there are going to be some women who are going to be, that you're going to want to date, that might have some bad habits that you're going to have to help them unlearn. You're not going to say this, but they will be able to read between the lines when you don't put up with certain things. But again, in order for her to, because for some women, you'll just be that guy that she's willing to do that for. But you got to get yourself to that spot where you are that guy, So we can't run around just blaming them, this, that, and the other thing. We need to make sure that we're doing what we need to be doing. And you need to build your world, have your shit together, so you have the confidence to lead it in a masculine way. Put your foot down, say no, have boundaries. Because if you don't, and they walk all over you, they will completely lose respect for you, and it's game over. There's just no coming back. It's very hard to come back from that. Once you've established that you're a pushover, it's very, very hard to come back from that. And some of you might think or say to me, like, oh, look, what if they dump me? What if they leave me? That's good. You don't want to be with a woman who's not going to follow your lead. If you do, you're just, like I said, you're just going to be in for a bunch of misery and chasing these ever-moving goalposts. You need to lead the relationship into a place that's calm, that's peaceful, and this is part of the masculine responsibility that we as men have, is ensuring the health of the relationship, and that involves saying things that are not going to be comfortable. And that's why, men do these things. We have to go into battle and do things that are uncomfortable, okay? And we do it with love. We do it with care. It's not that we're doing it to be a jerk, but this is the tough part of actually being a masculine man, putting your foot down and saying stuff that's not always easy to say. And sometimes they're going to feel bad. Some of the women that we talk to, they're going to feel bad, but you still have to do it. You still have to go through those things and put your foot down. Because I know temporarily they might be upset, but they usually always come back around and say, hey, look. And if those that don't come back around and those that really continue to fight you, that's a good sign for you to know that this woman you can't, because you'll never be able to change them. We need to understand that you can't change someone. They need to change themselves. If they come up against this sort of a boundary and there's a consequence, and if they don't want to change it themselves, they're never going to change. You won't ever be able to change a woman by anything that you do. By you being a masculine guy, hopefully that inspires her to get into her feminine and want to follow your leadership. But beyond that, there's very little that you can do. But you can guide, you can, shape her into what it is that the kind of relationship that you're looking for. Because a lot of women, they want to follow a man, but they have to be a strong masculine man. They want to be the woman for him if you're the guy that she's willing to do that for. But again, you're not going to be that guy for every woman. So build yourself up, and then when you do come across the woman that's willing and wanting to be that woman for you, you'll know how to do that, and you'll be ready to do that. Otherwise, you'll be putting yourself into her world, and things will go sideways, even if it started off strong at the beginning. You always have to maintain that lead till the day you die. So, All right, guys, I hope this helped. If you're looking for any one-on-one personal coaching, hit the links below and book a session with me. If you have questions, leave those down below and I'll answer them. Otherwise, we will see you in the next one.